Hi there. This is Jean Roman with For Dragonflies and Me. Thanks so much for joining me at this week's podcast. As always, I'm super excited to be here, sharing gardening, cooking, organizational tips and tricks, chatting about healthy lifestyles, and of course, having conversations with incredible entrepreneurs. Well, friends, this month's focus has been on local food and healthy life choices. And I know I have a tendency to focus on farmers markets because obviously that's where my heart has always been and will always continue to be. But obviously, there are other ways to invest in healthy life choices, exercise being an obvious one. So, if you're a regular listener, you also know that I love to share the backstory of how I know and met my podcast guest. And of course, today's not going to be any different. So, my guest today and I met almost 9, 10 years ago during my tenure in Dearborn with both the DDA and the Dearborn Area Chamber of Commerce. And we collaborated together with the city's farmers markets that I managed. Okay. Of course, I'm going to bring the farmers market into it, right, Tracy? Well, because that's where we always collaborated for the most part. But my guest today and I go back. We had lots of fun chats during her farmers market visits. And I would love to now introduce to you Tracy Besek, founder and ride leader of Bike Dearborn. So I also want to give her some bragging points because she has a few badges of honor that are worthy to list here. So Tracy received in 2016 Beaumont's Healthy Community Champion Award. In 2018, she also received the Advocate of the Year from the League of Michigan Bicyclists. And she has actually also been an active board member and co-chair of their DEI committee. Also in 2018, she won Sierra's Club of Southeastern Michigan Green Cruiser of the Year. And most recently in 2022, she received the Certificate of Appreciation from the County Commissioner, Sam Baydoun, for prominent healthy living in Dearborn. So now, friends, please help me welcome Tracy. We are so excited to have you here. Thank you for let's chat about what Bike Dearborn does and how it came to be.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate the time.
Oh, no, I appreciate your time. I know you're a busy lady. So now that we've got a little bit about all your, we've given you some accolades, tell my listeners, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
I wear several hats. First and foremost, I am a wife, happily married for almost 23 years. I'm a mother of two. My kids are 18 and 16 now, so pretty much adults, and it allows me the time to focus on other things outside the home. I'm a professional portrait photographer. I specialize in headshots. I'm a high school tennis coach. We just finished our fourth season of JV tennis at Dearborn High School.
Cool.
And I've worked in retail and retail management off and on for many years, mostly in the pet supply industry. I enjoy riding my bike, obviously. Um, and I ride it for fun. I ride it to places I need to go. Now that both, like I said, my kids are older. My son just turned 16. We're a two-car family, and we have three people living at home. So that leaves me to use my bike as my primary transportation, which I absolutely love. Um, and I've always, I've done things I felt made my community better.
Aw.
My kids were in elementary school. I volunteered as a crossing guard. That was my first introduction to just how bad traffic was and how it impacted the neighborhoods.
Yeah. Well, I knowing you in for the time that I have, you have always, supported the community excuse me, and really put yourself out there as and being at the farmers market, which we're going to get into a little bit later. But Tracy, I've always appreciated you, and I know with both the DDA and the chamber, what Bike Dearborn has provided for Dearborn and the surrounding communities is really an essential service, and it helps with so many different healthy living and whatnot. But
Mhm.
so, Bike Dearborn is a group of biking advocates and enthusiasts who we often see rolling around Dearborn. And I love the mission behind the organization. So, I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to read that to all of my listeners here. So, Bike Dearborn's mission is to create a safe and welcoming cycling community while promoting the healthy benefits of cycling as recreation and transportation for residents and visitors of Dearborn. Tracy, would you tell me, what prompted you to start this incredible group?
Well, Jean, when I started riding with my son, when we took off the training wheels, roughly when he was 5 years old. Like I said, he's 16 now, and he's he's got a different wheel.
Yeah.
And we just we would ride together. We'd ride to school. We'd go on trips along Himes Drive and so forth to ride. And we just see just a few other families riding their bikes together, and often doing things like, and not to disparage riding the wrong way in the street and other unsafe habits, just out of not knowing how to do it safely, or that there are actually laws in Michigan
Mhm.
that apply to cyclists. So, and looking at that, and then I wanted to start a writing group and kind of show off the city. I didn't start living in Dearborn. Well, it's been, I moved into Dearborn when I got married, so I've been
Okay.
here for like 23 years,
Mhm.
and it's home, and I love to show off. Dearborn is so unique. It has so many different. We have over 40 parks. We have so many small businesses that are very Dearborn centric. And I wanted to show off the different parts of the city, but also to teach cycling safety and encourage others who have been hesitant to ride alone, to join and ride with Bike Dearborn. We're a welcoming group. Anybody is welcome, and I always say from like ages 8 to 80. We have people of all ages join us on our slow roll adventures throughout the summer. So
So cool.
that idea, was floating around in my head back in 2015, and the city formed a coalition, Healthy Dearborn, and they launched a family bike ride back in October of 2015. And of course, I said, "Oh yes, I'm going. I'm taking the family. My son and my husband went with me." And it was in October, and it was a super chilly October. We had our wool hats on, our helmets and everything, and winter coats and thick gloves. Back then that was like the coldest I've ever ridden in.
Back
Now's
then.
another story. Now's another
Yeah.
story.
We'll get into
Um,
that.
yeah, after the ride, I got to talking with Dave Norwood, who worked for the city and the
Great
mayor at the
guy.
time, and Sarah Gleicher, who was the project manager for Healthy Dearborn. So they,
Loved her.
introduced me to what Healthy Dearborn was, and we
Uh-huh.
talked about my idea. And a few days later, Sarah emailed me and said, "Hey, let's do it." So we developed the Healthy Dearborn, Bike Dearborn walk and roll. And we started visiting different parks in the city. At the time, we had 44 parks.
Mhm.
We have more parks now, and we have more parks coming with what the city has announced
Mhm.
with developing new parks in various parts of the city. So, I mean, what city has over 40 parks?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's incredible.
seriously,
And they're
it's
beautiful
amazing.
too. Yeah, they're
It's
very
amazing.
nicely maintained.
I mean, some are huge, some are just, a corner lot,
Pocket parks, yeah.
within a neighborhood. I mean, that's, what's kind of quaint about Dearborn is we have all
Mm.
these neighborhood parks. Um, yeah, and so we hosted that first ride, and we had, besides my family, which added two extra people besides myself, we had 13 riders,
That's
and
awesome.
I was amazed. Over the next couple of years, we grew and had 80 to 100 on our most, and this is pre-COVID. And we invite, like I said, we invite cyclists of all abilities to join us. And it's not something that I do alone. We've recruited experienced cyclist friends from all over that help with the safety of keeping everyone together and getting us through intersections safely. Sometimes we have the unfortunate flat tire in the middle of the ride. Well, we don't leave someone behind just because they have a flat tire. So we, repair it as quickly as possible, and we keep going as a group.
Aw.
And then, from there we started talking about what we could do to make the city safer, and that's when the advocacy started. So, we get more people. We get more people to ride on bikes. It helps make cyclists more visible to motorists in our large groups. Shows the city and driving residents that we do indeed exist and that we do belong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I know you guys were the kind of spearheaded the whole 5 foot safe
Yes.
passing. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So yeah, it's our most notable accomplishment. And we encourage the city. The state was trying. There were legislators lobbying for a 5 foot law statewide a few years ago, and several cities had taken upon themselves to adopt a 5 foot law. Ann Arbor, Portage. Couple others that escape, I think Grand Rapids.
Okay.
So we said, hey, you know what, Dearborn, we want, Dearborn to be bike friendly. Let's go ahead and jump over this, hung up legislation, and let's adopt a 5 foot law. So I worked with Dave Norwood at the time in the city's legal department, and we developed a 5 foot safe passing law, and it passed unanimously through city council. So
That's
I
awesome.
was very, very pleased with that. That spoke loudly to their commitment
Mm-hmm.
at the time. And unfortunately, through Michigan, Michigan statewide did adopt a 3 foot law, but our 5 foot law does supersede that. And hopefully, through the work that I do with the League of Michigan Bicyclists, I'm hoping that they were able to get that amended and make
Mm-hmm.
it even safer.
Yeah, because Outer Drive is kind of your next project, isn't it? That's your ongoing baby.
Outer Drive's been a long ongoing piece of work. Many cyclists use it. It's a wide road, and it's perfect. It's perfect for bike lanes. It's perfect to connect different parts of our region. Outer Drive, goes through Dearborn Heights, Allen Park, downriver all the way to Jefferson. And then the other way, it heads into Detroit and Rouge Park. So, I mean, it connects many communities, and it could be a catalyst for the whole region as far as connectivity and bicycle infrastructure. Unfortunately, because it is a county jurisdiction, there's been some differences in opinions on what would make it safe for cyclists and what they're willing to do at this time. So we're hoping.
So the work continues on. Well,
yes.
Yeah, and I don't think many people look at an organization, like Bike Dearborn doing advocacy work and stuff like this. Maybe some people have the notion that, oh, it's just a group of people that get together and ride, but obviously there's so much more to Bike Dearborn. I don't know any other biking clubs or whatnot, but my personal experience with you and what I know of Bike Dearborn, it's a big program, and it's not just people riding together once a week, which is it's going to segue into my next question for you, Tracy. Looking through your website, I was perusing it and trying to get some good content for questions and whatnot for our interview, but you guys host a lot of events. And you guys really put a lot of effort into connecting with the community, with your surrounding communities, and engaging and creating fun things to do, fun, healthy things to do. And so, give my listeners a little bit of information about some of your upcoming 2023 events because they look great to me. I'm not a bike rider, but it's like, woo, for people who are,
Well, we'll have to get you on
Oh,
a bike.
I need a big seat, Tracy.
We'll get you on a big seat and a tricycle if you need
There you
to. But yeah,
go. Okay.
it all works. And that's one of the things that we on our website we talk about cycling. It used to be our mission specifically said bicycling, but we realized that it wasn't inclusive enough because there are people on tricycles and recumbents and they're all cycles, but they're not necessarily bicycles. Bicycles are two wheels.
Mhm.
So we're still called Bike Dearborn, but as far as our mission, it's like I said, we're all inclusive, all abilities. We've had trikes, we've had recumbents, we've had tandems
Cool.
join our rides. But yeah, we got the schedule. It is packed full, and this is the fun part because it's not just the events kind of lead into our advocacy. Like I was saying, it shows and it gives visibility to cyclists in Dearborn. In April, we did an arts studio hop bike tour. Pre-COVID, we did a bike tour that was very successful. And now that Arts in Dearborn has kind of relaunched after COVID, they asked me to lead a bike ride. So we did that. We have coming up last year in May, we did a special community ride and got Mayor Hamoud on the bike.
Cool.
And
I remember that.
need a bike ride. This year, we are not going to do that ride in May, but we're going to combine it with our homecoming ride.
Oh, cool.
So we're bringing back our homecoming ride. Last year we brought it back kind of, sort of, unofficially.
Homecoming wasn't exactly the same last year, too.
Yeah, it
So,
was,
yeah.
a lot of weird things happening over the last couple of years. So this year homecoming's back at Ford Field.
Good.
We're going to be doing our homecoming bike ride, and Mayor Hamoud is going to join us for that, and that's going to be our homecoming, and it's a family-friendly ride, homecoming family bike ride with Mayor Hamoud. And then in May 24th, we launch, just coming up here in a couple weeks, our, I want to say eighth season of our
Give yourself that credit, Tracy.
what was our Healthy Dearborn Bike Dearborn Walk and Rolls is now our slow rolling Wednesdays.
Okay.
The walks post-COVID just didn't really take off. So we're really focusing on what was successful, and that was the bike rides. And it's
Okay.
a slow roll bike ride where we've attracted as many in the past, as many as 100 cyclists at a time.
That's awesome.
So this year we're going to be doing meeting at different businesses throughout the city. We try to alternate East and West Dearborn and the South End as well, because we want to really, focus on all different corners of the city, introduce people to those businesses, and enjoy each and every week is different. It's a different route. Again, it's safe. We have a support crew that keeps everyone together. We don't let anyone straggle behind, and we take care of business. And like I said, in August we've got our homecoming ride. With being back in at Ford Field, we're relaunching our valet bike parking.
Very cool.
So you can ride your bike right down into Ford Field, stop at the tennis courts, and we'll secure your bike for you for the duration that you're at homecoming. So You don't have
That's
to park
awesome.
5 blocks away, half-mile away to get to homecoming. You're like right there in the thick of it, and your bike will be stored safely at the tennis courts until you're ready to go home.
And then after everybody's eating all the great food from all the clubs that they bring in and all of the food
Right,
trucks, they can feel good about riding their bikes home.
right, exactly.
Right. Okay. So we're going to throw in a positive spin there.
Right,
No pun
right,
intended.
right. Yes, yes.
But yeah, that's a lot. And you still got more coming. So what else is going on?
Yeah, I mean, and then let's see, in August also, Greenfield Village has a members Twilight Ride. That is a members only event for Greenfield Village.
I love Greenfield Village. I get a membership every year.
Last year we had 6 volunteers. We set up a station and we pumped up tires. We did some quick repairs. We passed out more information on Bike Dearborn. We did not have enough volunteers. So this year we're going to beef it up to about 10 volunteers because a lot of people that come to the Greenfield Village Ride haven't ridden their bikes in a long time, and they feel safe doing it because there's no cars around.
Mm-hmm.
And we got their bikes quickly in tip-top shape so they could enjoy the rest of the evening. So yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
one thing I do want to mention is with the exception of our first dozen ride, which is our January 1st annual ride that we do on New Year's Day. Every single event that we do is free.
That's awesome.
For the New Year's Day first dozen ride, we do have a suggested donation. If
Mm-hmm.
it is a free ride, but we do have a suggested donation for that ride that helps us to raise money for some of the other good stuff that we like to do.
Yeah, for sure. But you guys go right into winter. I
Yeah.
mean, so I know you said you got some stuff going on in November and December. What are
Yep.
those?
Yep. So we end our slow rolling Wednesdays in October. And then we do our annual Halloween ride, which is a little bit longer. The pace starts to pick up a little bit faster. The routes are a little bit longer, and we go through different Dearborn neighborhoods and look at some of the most spectacular Halloween decorations. Wow, some of them are
Heard that? That's
really.
Frank in the background.
Some of these.
For everybody following me on Facebook, Frankie Friday. So if you heard the big snort, that was Frankie getting a pet. Sorry, Tracy. Frank wanted to say
I miss Frank.
Yeah, Frank thinks you're awesome.
I miss Frank. I miss seeing him at the farmer's market.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know. He was the market puppers.
Yeah. So yeah, the Halloween ride, we go through some of the best decorated. I mean, some of these houses are so elaborate. They're just wow. That's the only word I can use. And to see them in person at night, up close and personal, when you're it's a lot different than when you're driving in the car looking
Yeah,
at these
flying
things.
by. Yeah.
You're like right there. So we do that, and then in November, we ask our members to volunteer with an organization, and they just you can do it once, you can do it twice, you can do it weekly. There's an organization, it's called Free Bikes for Kids Detroit, and they take used donated bikes, and with the volunteers we clean and repair and get them ready and pass them out to underprivileged youth through other charitable organizations to give them bikes for Christmas.
That's awesome. Hey, Tracy, before I let you move on with that, make a note to reach out to me, because I know you always send the stuff to the DDA and to the chamber to post on their social media. Well, just because we're doing this one podcast, our relationship will always continue to grow,
Yeah.
and I will always try to do everything I can to support and promote Bike Dearborn. So if you want to make a note to reach out to me when that advertisement out and send me the flyer, and I will be so happy to put that out, because I think that's incredible. I think that is so incredible that you guys do that for kids so they can have a bike. That's great.
Sure. Absolutely. It's so fun. And what I do is I usually go once a week for the whole month of it's like the end of October, and then November and the beginning of December. And I'll go once a week to repair bikes, to get them ready for the kids. And it's rewarding, knowing that you're doing something good and using a certain skill set to be able to do that. But I mean, you don't need to have skill. I mean, they need people to clean the bikes before we start repairing them. So I mean, all abilities, everybody can learn how to clean a bike.
Yeah, that's incredible. And then you still got a couple more things going on before the end.
I know.
We warned you, listeners.
It's jam-packed, and I love that we're back in full force.
Yeah.
After having a couple of years with COVID and not doing anything, and then slowly going in. I mean, this year, 2023, is like the year that we're in full force. And we ride throughout the winter, every Wednesday still again. The routes are faster, are longer, and the pace is a little bit faster than the summertime slow rolls. But like the Halloween ride, we have our Holiday Joy Ride.
Okay.
And that is another tour throughout different neighborhoods of the city to see some of the most spectacular holiday light displays that people put up on their homes.
That's incredible.
Again, it's awesome. It's awesome. These people go all out in Dearborn as far as decorations, and it's so fun.
That's awesome. And I've driven through there. I've done the Heinz Park there, and I've driven through because obviously I was in Dearborn for almost 8 years. And so, yes, and I can attest to what you're saying. There are some beautiful displays worth just even taking your car or even walking. But, speaking of events, as the event manager for the DDA and the chamber, I worked on several different things. And one of those events it wasn't really an event, but it was an opportunity for people to go and visit through Dearborn, the historic districts. So I had, with the Historic Society of Dearborn, utilizing some of their materials as well, created a walking and riding path maps. You actually, when I was going through your website, I also saw you had something similar for biking through the historic districts. And can you tell my listeners a bit about that and those areas? What is your favorite area if you have one?
The downtown areas are by far my favorite. There's so much going on, and they're ever changing. And to see the historic buildings and how they're being used now is just it's fantastic. Our entire city's bikeable. Yes, it's a little bit difficult to get from East Dearborn to West Dearborn and back, but it's doable. The self-guided tour that you're referring to that we have on our website was actually created by the Dearborn Historic Museum quite a few years ago, and we share it for those that might be Google searching Dearborn tours and whatnot. Dearborn's full of history.
It's beautiful.
It is. And, like I said earlier, seeing it in a more intimate way by bike definitely makes a more great and unique experience.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I'm excited to know, you guys are also working. And that's the one thing in Dearborn during my tenure there, I really came to appreciate is how so many of the organizations, the Performing Arts Center, the Historic Society, the city, the DDA, the chamber, we all work so cohesively together. And we are all out there trying to provide a healthy, safe, community with lots of fun things to do, lots of safe things to do. And I really miss being there. And I still come there. And, even though I'm not working there anymore, still come to eat. I'll still be at Greenfield Village and visiting several of my favorite shops there. But, during our phone call, you mentioned you and your riders, and during this conversation as well, you guys ride year long. And I think that's great. Like I said, even though I'm not really a biking person and I'm definitely not a winter person by any means, we're retiring south in 6 years, Tracy. And I think it's awesome you guys get out there and enjoy what you love, and that's what counts. So, can you tell my listeners some of the rides you do during the cold months, or did we kind of really cover that during with the events, or do you have like something specific?
We ride all year long. So again, different from our slow rolling season, it is a faster pace and a longer route. But rather than meeting in different places, we usually meet in one place each week, and that's Ford Field at the bridge.
Yeah.
Everybody in Dearborn knows the bridge.
Uh-huh.
The infamous covered bridge. Beautiful setting for a group picture every week. So yeah, we ride almost, I would say almost every week. There are weeks where it would not, even for us dressed in our most our best winter gear, is not as pleasant. We canceled a couple times because of rain or sleet.
Yeah.
High winds, when it's 40
Mhm.
miles an hour, gusts, it's no fun,
No.
even for
And it's
us.
not safe either.
It's, yeah, exactly. And that's, we look at safety.
Mhm.
Um, so, we won't ride on those days. Like this Wednesday night, we're still like our winter season, but we call it the spring warm up ride because it's our pre-season to the slow roll season. And this Wednesday we're supposed to have thunderstorms all night long, so we're not going to be able to
Yeah.
get that fit in.
Yeah.
But we're riding in the middle of winter, and if it's like 40
Yeah, it's a nice
degrees or
balmy
more,
day.
we might stop for ice cream, and people look at us like we're absolutely crazy nuts. and we kind of are,
And
but
you know what? But you're not, even though you may be a little nutty, you're having fun being nutty. So
right. And we're patronizing, again, we're patronizing
that's
those,
right.
small businesses in Dearborn, that mean so much to us.
Yeah.
We'll stop for we'll ride into Southwest Detroit and stop at a taco truck, or
Oh,
so we don't keep it confined to Dearborn on these longer rides. We'll venture out to different cities: Garden City, Westland, Wayne,
wow,
um,
that's cool.
Detroit, Allen Park, all the surrounding Dearborn Heights.
What's
So
what's the
really cool.
average length of a ride? I know I didn't actually have that as a question, but now I
You
just thought
know,
of it as you're talking.
for our winter and spring rides, usually between 12 and 15 miles distance,
Okay.
and we usually ride about a 12-mile-an-hour pace. When we get into the slow rolling season, it's usually about 8-9 miles, and it's usually about 9-10 miles an hour max.
Okay.
So the pace is really, for the slow rolling season, is set up by the participants.
Okay.
Like I said, with those, we really don't, and with our winter rides too, we don't leave anybody behind. If someone starts to straggle, we stop and wait for them to catch up, and then we adjust our pace,
The
to keep
Marines on
everyone.
bikes, no one left behind, right?
Exactly. No one left behind. We
That's
take care of our
awesome.
own. Yes, we take care of our own.
Well, I'm going to go back a little bit. So, Dragonfly friends, I probably should back it up just a bit to mine and Tracy's farmers market days. Yep, I'm bringing it back. But while I managed the market, I would invite many of Dearborn's and surrounding communities, wonderful community organizations, to set up a tent at no charge and to let the community know who they were, what they offered, what they did, and the services they provided to community members. And Tracy was a frequent flyer at the market, or I should say, frequent rider at the market. Make it more fitting. And she would often do demonstrations on, repairing flat tires and handing out other swag. So Tracy, that's one location I hope you can still be a part of this summer during the farmers market. I hope they invited you. But can you tell my listeners, what other types of events do you attend to get the word out about Bike Dearborn and how to find you?
We're just getting back, besides the farmers market, we're just getting back into, getting in other events. And, I try to, not only do, our bike rides in Dearborn on Wednesdays, but, on other days of the week when there's other communities that do bike rides, I try to, at least go and ride with them a couple times throughout the year to support their efforts,
Mhm.
as well. Um, and and with the farmers market, it was always real fun because it was, number one, it was great to sit there and people watch, but also, get the questions. People are like, well, oh, I didn't know that, you could, ride so much in Dearborn. If I wanted to ride my bike from my house to, this business or this, location, this park or whatever, how would I do it? And so a lot of great conversations happened that way. And then, of course, yeah, I had the bike repair clinics that I would host over on the green and teach people how to change their own flat tire, which I'm always willing to help someone change a flat tire anyway.
Yeah, well, like you said, you have a
Uh,
skill and you offer that out. So
yeah, and I'm always available to set up workshops for groups. I can teach basic maintenance, how to clean your bike, change a flat, or if someone really wants to learn how to commute by bike, I will set up a route that gets them to their destination. And if they want me to ride with them, that first time to become familiar with it, I'm more than happy to do that.
that's awesome. That's so awesome.
Whatever it takes to get people out on their bikes. It's good for your health. It's good for the environment. It saves you money. Gas prices are, continually, go up and down, up and down.
Hmm.
And they go up more than they do down.
Yes.
So, I'm saving money by, not driving.
Yeah, for sure. But I know
Uh,
everybody listening now is super excited, especially all the biking enthusiasts, and maybe folks out there that are like, you know what, I always kind of wanted to do this, but I never knew where or how to get involved. And so now I have a question. So, do you have to be a Dearborn resident to participate in Bike Dearborn? And if not, how do people become a member of Bike Dearborn?
No, you do not have to be a resident. We have people from, like I said, all over Metro Detroit that join us each week. I have people that ride with us weekly from Detroit, from Berkeley, from Taylor, from Allen Park, everywhere.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
so our rides, they're open to everyone. You have to provide your own bike.
That's easy.
um, as far as becoming a member, if you ride with us, you're a member. Plain
So
and
there's not
simple.
like any formal application or anything.
No. Now, if you would like to become a part of our advocacy team, we do meet weekly via Zoom. Or weekly. We meet monthly. Sorry, I'm in the bike riding mode right now. That we're talking about. We meet monthly via Zoom, and we have some different committees that you're able to participate in. And we always need more on the advocacy side. We always need more members on the advocacy side, and that takes a little bit more more commitment.
Mhm.
We have our several committees that we have our advocacy committee, we have our education and outreach committee, our community building and events committee, which is a lot of what I do with creating all these events, and we have a fundraising committee.
Cool. Very cool. Well, it sounds like you have something for just about anybody who wants to be involved at every level of participation. And, Tracy, there may be some listeners here who are biking enthusiasts and own some businesses and need, well, let's put it plain, tax write-offs, and would love to support a organization, a worthy organization like Bike Dearborn. And I really feel that Bike Dearborn strives to serve the community at large. It's helping instill both a fun, healthy, and educational experience. And I would love for you to let my listeners know how they can support Bike Dearborn.
Sure. Businesses can support us simply by hosting one of our slow rolling events. It's easy. All that's required is you to be open and available so our cyclists can patronize your business.
That's easy.
That's at the most granular, easy level. And it's, also great to reward, those businesses with the customers that visit by bike. Some of the businesses will reward them with a discount or a coupon for a future use. It's not necessary, but it's always, good to encourage. Other ways to support us is by donation. We want to expand our educational programming to one day open, we want to open a co-op shop to help people repair their bikes. We want to place more public repair stations throughout the city. I think we have like eight or nine throughout the city. Now some of them reside at elementary schools, where we've done some work with Safe Routes to School the last couple of years, with the Safe Routes to School grant in cycling education, and awarding schools that have kids that walk and roll to school contests. They've won bike repair stations, and you'll see some of the bike repair stations that we have. We have one in City Hall Park, Centennial Library, at the Gateway Trailhead, back just east of the old Andiamo building. We have one in West Village Commons, between the two parking decks, and then several parks throughout the city. There's one in Martha Myrtle Park for the neighborhood there, one at Cherry Hill Park. And then, like I said, a few of the schools have been getting them too. So
that's awesome.
They
We need
have
to
a
put
map
one.
on our website. Yeah, we have a
They
map
need
on
to,
our website.
yeah, they need to put one over by the farmer's market. I know that's just a couple blocks down from between
Yeah,
the east and west decks, but I mean, people
we
like
would
to
love
ride
to.
their bike to the market, and that would be an ideal location in my opinion. Probably
Yes,
not
yes.
because of the location of the other one. It might be too
No,
close, but
well, with so much happening, I mean, we talked about maybe relocating that one, but
yeah,
rather than relocating it, we would like to get an extra one
yeah, for sure.
put
And
over
that's
there. They're not cheap. They do take, they cost about, I think like $2,700 a piece.
well, that would be a great way for somebody to support, and
But
maybe you guys could put their logo or their name on it,
absolutely,
donated
that's what
by.
we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we do. If you look at all of our stations that we have out there, we do recognize who has donated
That's
for
awesome.
those specific stations.
Well,
Absolutely.
Well, friends, if you are interested in sponsoring, being a partner with Bike Dearborn, don't worry if you missed any of that. I will have the contact information for Tracy in the description here at the podcast, at my blog, social media, Facebook event, as well as the YouTube video of this. So, and you can find that at my blog at fordragonfliesandme.com, and of course Tracy's website, bikedearborn.org, right? Yeah. But
.com.
.com. Sorry about that.
.com.
Just looking at it real quick, and I'll be able to give you guys Tracy's personal, her Bike Dearborn email, and you'll be able to contact her with any other questions. And like I said earlier, her website has a plethora of information, and it was amazing to go through it. And I'm sure anybody who is looking for something fun to do as an organized group, making new friends, especially if you're new in the community or the surrounding communities, and you love bike riding, what a better way to make some new friends, and even your kids if they're going to school together. So like I said, I'm a huge advocate for Bike Dearborn and so many other things that are happening in Dearborn. My heart is there. I love it. And so I'm happy to promote Bike Dearborn and what you do, Tracy. So I guess we're gonna wrap it up, and I just want to say thanks, Dragonfly friends, for joining me and Tracy here this week to talk about biking and safety and advocacy and how to be a part of Bike Dearborn. Tracy, thank you so much for your time. It is always a pleasure chatting with you. I'm going to miss our market day chats.
I know. Thanks so much for having me and giving me the time to talk all things Bike Dearborn.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Passion. Yes. Thanks so
So,
much.
friends, until next time, be sure to follow me here at my podcast. Be sure to subscribe over at my YouTube channel. And if you're not following me on Facebook or Instagram, be sure to follow me there. I have great reels on different recipes coming up. My podcast is always focused primarily on entrepreneurs or healthy lifestyles, but I've got so much more at my blog and my YouTube channel and my social media. So, as always, friends, be sure to eat fresh, shop local, and have a happy day. We'll see you next time.